Hey Apex Agents, Mobius Y here with another video for Mass Effect Andromeda's multiplayer. Today's another two-part character build guide. We're taking a look at the rare grade Batarian Scrapper. This guy is a total powerhouse. He was quite fun to play, being able to completely demolish entire groups of enemies very quickly. So I tried to capitalize on burst damage against groups of enemies and over a smaller area as best as possible with this particular build. So it makes a couple sacrifices in the passive trees, but you get maximum utility out of all three powers. So this part one of the character build guide will go over the power breakdown using the equipment and going over the equipment and supplies that I used. For part two, where I go over some gold gameplay, check the link in the description below to see me using this exact build in action. So let's go ahead and break down this particular build. Concussive Shot obviously took this to rank 6. Rank 4, Repeat Concussion, turns this into a Power Cell spammable ability, and it increases the damage versus knocked down enemies tremendously. So any mooks or sub-bosses that have health that you actually knock to the ground with a Concussive Shot, they will take a massive amount of extra damage from your next Concussive Shot. Rank 5 Radius, this is really nice for hitting multiple enemies and disabling an entire group of mooks all at the same time, or setting off a combo that is right next to what you actually targeted with your Concussive Shot. So it's pretty handy to have this Radius upgrade. Rank 6 Anti-Shield, plus 100% damage versus shields. This makes it easier to de-shield, disable, and kill sub-bosses. Things like Remnant Observers, which are very guilty of being super annoying. Ket Destined will actually be de-shielded and knocked down in a single Concussive Shot with this. Ket Anointed can be knocked down in 2 Concussive Shots. And things like Outlaw Pariahs can be knocked down in 2 Concussive Shots as well. So this is kind of your anti-shield sort of power, and you get 5 power cells by turning it into Repeat Concussion with the rank 4 upgrade. So the second skill we're going to look at is Snap Freeze. This was actually the last thing that I upgraded on this particular character build. Rank 4, I went with the extra reach. It's nice being able to hit enemies that are further away, simply flash freezing them from a further distance, making it safer to cast from farther away, just catching more enemies out and being able to apply the debuff effect from a bigger distance. You don't have to get in so close all the time. Rank 5 Brittle. Unarmored and armored enemies now receive increased damage from all sources while frozen or chilled, so they suffer 20% additional damage on top of being frozen solid or chilled and slowed, which is really nice. So this just makes it easier to take down an entire group or take down a single armored boss enemy very quickly. And at rank 6 Anti-Armor, plus 65% armor defense debuff. This stacks with the rank 1 armor defense debuff of 50%, giving you a total of 115% armor defense debuff. So armored enemies are heavily debuffed with a single hit of Snap Freeze, so they will actually take a lot of damage from your allies as well as your own powers and other attacks. The recharge speed on Snap Freeze isn't very good because you only have the rank 2 recharge speed reduction, which drops at 20% from the initial recharge speed of 12 seconds. So it's got recharge time of 10 seconds. So it's not that great. You could lower that with equipment or boosters if you so chose, if you like spamming your Snap Freeze more often. I don't really recommend it though, because it's more of a group disabling power, and it's used for debuffing small groups of armored sub-bosses and or a single big armored boss like a Hydra or a Fiend. Flat Cannon. This was a nice one. This was actually one of the first powers that I upgraded. Obviously took it all the way to rank 6. Rank 4, damage and force, plus 50% area damage, plus 35% area force. This pretty much guarantees that things will get staggered when you hit them with a flat cannon. An entire group of mooks will get staggered if you land a flat cannon right in the middle of them and the shrapnel hits all of them. They will be staggered and just temporarily crowd controlled. Very, very temporarily preventing them from shooting you, essentially, and dealing damage to you. At rank 5, Anti-Armor increases both initial and shrapnel damage against enemy armor, plus 75% damage against armor. Flat Cannon, by default, has a 30% damage penalty against armor, particularly the shrapnel pieces that break off after the initial hit. So this mitigates that, and it actually does bonus damage against armor now. So this essentially turns into your anti-armor power, which is really nice. Rank 6 Shredder Shrapnel inflicts additional damage over time. Damage per second, 100 points, and it lasts for 8 seconds. So you get another 800 points of damage over the course of 8 seconds, which is really nice. This can turn this into a nice fire and forget power. Say you run into a group of mooks, like remnant assemblers or some outlaw raiders, and you snap freeze them before they spread out too much, and you can land a single flat cannon in the middle of all of them, and it will pretty much kill them from the DOT, which is really nice. So this actually racks up to doing quite a bit of damage over time, even from a single flat cannon against the likes of mooks and sub-bosses. Munitions training only took this to rank 4. I upgraded this after I did the powers, concussive shot, and flat cannon. I wanted those maxed out before I simply increased the power, the passive power damage, I should say. So at rank 2, you get 20% extra power damage, which is really nice. And at rank 4, I went with the extra powers in melee for an additional plus 20% power damage, and also plus 1 more to all power cell capacities. So this gives you, by default, 6 concussive shot uses before you have none left, which is really nice. You also do get a couple bonuses to melee damage, 40% total. 20% at rank 3 and 20% at rank 4, which is really nice. And a small increase in your total weapon damage by about 10%, which does equate to quite a few bonuses, but the big one is the large amount of extra power damage. In combat fitness, I was able to make use of taking this to rank 4, maximizing the survivability of the character, or should I say just maximizing the total possible health and shields that you can have. So at rank 3, you get plus 15% max health and shields. You get plus 10% at rank 1 of max health and shields as well. And at rank 4, I took the extra health and shields for plus 25% max health and shields. So you get a total of plus 50% additional health and shields on this character, which is really nice. At rank 2, you get another melee damage bonus, so you get actually quite a bit of a melee damage boost from both munitions training and combat fitness. And of course, the veteran bonus, as you rank up this character beyond grade 10, you get even more melee damage bonus, even more power damage bonus, and more combo detonation damage, which is really nice. So this character does get even more powerful. This particular build, I should say, gets even more powerful as you unlock more character cards from ranks 11 to ranks 20. So it makes him a very potent spawn killer. Getting into a group of enemies, you hit something with, say, a concussive shot, for example, some kind of shielded enemy like a Ket Destined. You hit him with a concussive shot, you snap freeze 4 enemies in front of you, you get the Ket Destined, you get the 3 Ket Chosen around it, maybe there's a Wraith in there as well. So now you've got 4 or 5 enemies that are all flash frozen. You can hit them with a concussive shot to set off a cryo combo and do quite a bit of damage to them. You can hit them with a flak cannon or 2 if you just want to try and do some more area damage, and just run away and let them die from DOT because you don't want to use your concussive shot, or you don't have one. You don't have a power cell for concussive shot just yet. I mean, the possibilities are near endless. You can also snap freeze and then use your melee attack, which causes combo detonation. So you set off a cryo combo by punching one guy and then use a concussive shot on somebody else to set off another cryo combo, for example. So the area damage potential is there. It's really high, and it's very effective. So for the rest of the loadout, I like using the M37 Falcon on this guy. I recommend something with some kind of stagger effect. The M37 Falcon is pretty good for that. The Savoa is another good one if you have that unlocked. I don't think there's anything else in the assault rifle category that would really qualify for that. For shotguns, you could use a Dan since it shoots a projectile, and it does kind of cause an area stagger. But another possible suggestion is the Venom. I haven't used the Venom myself in a long time, but it would definitely work. You can shoot a charged Venom shot into a whole group of bad guys, staggering them all, dealing a little bit extra damage to all of them just with a single weapon shot. And possibly you could use the Scorpion out of your pistols. It does have a delayed reaction to the round detonating and causing a stagger. Nevertheless, the extra area damage is there, and the additional crowd control is there with the staggering that the Scorpion can cause. But like I said, personally, I like the Falcon. It's got a big magazine with the magazine upgrade mod, which you can see here as my second mod. It has 9 shots. It carries quite a bit of ammo by default, but even more with one of the boosters that I have equipped. And it does decent damage. You can kill most gold mooks, just about any gold mook, with 3 direct hits of the Falcon, which isn't amazing damage, but it combos really nicely with the use of your powers, giving you extra crowd control capabilities, being able to stagger enemies and keep them off balance. For equipment, definitely recommend Grenade Capacity. This will increase your power cells by an additional 3. So by default, with just your powers, you should have 6 power cells for concussive shot, and 7 for your flat cannon. So grenade capacity will increase that to 9 for concussive shot and 10 for flat cannon. And then going over to boosters, power capacity mod. Talking is hard today for some reason. I just used a grade 1 on this character a lot because he's already carrying quite a bit. So this will give you 10 uses of concussive shot and 11 of flat cannon. So it gives you a lot of power cells back when you pop an ammo pack to refill them. Of course, you could use a higher grade power cell. Definitely like a power capacity mod 4 if you want to carry 14 flat cannons or 13 flat cannons or something like that, which would be really amusing. You could also use a combat power amp to increase the damage dealt by our combat powers, and of course the higher grade combat power amp you use, the more damage they will deal. This just makes it easier to nuke spawns, take out groups of enemies very quickly, and take down debuffed bosses as quickly as possible. And then for the second booster, something from the offensive area, I like using the ammo capacity mod to reduce my reliance on, reduce the odds of the Falcon running out of ammo on me, because that can be a major problem when you have no more ammo with whatever your weapon is, because like I said, it's essentially another form of crowd control. If your power cells are empty and you don't want to use an ammo pack just yet because all of the ammo crates on the map are full on power cells, you just want to go refill by doing that, well, your gun's out of ammo too, you're in big trouble. You're going to have to use that ammo pack, or you're just going to have to hope you don't die. Another suggestion might be a strength enhancer, especially if you utilize the melee a lot more than I do. You should see me do it in the gameplay. I do use it occasionally, but just not a heck of a lot. But if you're more adept and proficient with using the melee at good times and actually make an effort to use it more often than I do, you can definitely go with that. You could also equip a melee enhancer mod instead of, for example, in this case, the assault rifle barrel mod that I have on. If you're using a shotgun or a pistol instead of the Falcon, for example. The assault rifles do not get a melee damage booster mod, so that's why I went with the magazine capacity, obviously, and the base barrel extra damage mod. You could use a different kind of barrel mod on the Falcon if that's what you're using, because you don't really have to worry about this thing's, for example, accuracy. So if you have a higher grade short barrel, for example, you'll actually get more damage out of it without taking much of a penalty in anything else. So that should essentially sum it up for part 1 of the build guide here, just going over in detail how I have this character set up. Like I said, this was arranged with maximum burst damage potential with the powers, and this guy is really good at it. It's really, really, really good at it. One of the best characters for nuking spawns all by himself, hands down. And hopefully the gameplay will showcase that as much as possible. So for part 2, as I said, for some gameplay with this exact setup on gold difficulty, check the link in the description below. And that will sum it up for part 1. Thanks very much for watching. For more Mass Effect Andromeda multiplayer content, feel free to subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to turn on notifications. I'll see you guys on the battlefield. Good luck, Apex.